What if you took a vow to save the person you love, only for them to have been the enemy all along? Join me as we discuss a knight's tale of loyalty, faith, and a rescue mission that doesn't end the way that you think it will. Yo! Havoc Nation has arrived. What's going on, everybody? Los Angeles Havoc here, aka Laytato, the one and only high priest of the congregation. Welcome back to another installment of LaytatoClips, where we've got a little bit of everything. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 1348 Ex Voto. This is a single-player action-adventure game developed by Sedleo Games that was just released on March 12th, 2026. You can currently play it on Steam, Epic Games Store, and PlayStation 5. Originally, there was an Xbox version planned as well, but the developers canceled that port in order to focus on the PC and PlayStation releases instead. Right away, the game makes it clear that its biggest focus is story and atmosphere. The story takes place in 14th century Italy during the Bubonic Plague. You play as Aita, a young knight-errant who sets out on a mission to rescue her friend Bianca after bandits raid their hometown and kidnap her. Early in her journey, Aita gets her first real lead from a lord living in a nearby castle. His guards have abandoned their posts, leaving him vulnerable, but he's able to point Aita in the direction of the brigands responsible for the attack, or at least so he assumes. From there, Aita sets off on a relentless pursuit. About halfway through the game, Aita finally finds Bianca being held captive by a group of religious fanatics who've taken control of a villa. Bianca begs Aita to meet her later at a nearby village where other captives are being held, declaring it to be an all-or-nothing kind of rescue. However, when Aita arrives at the village, it's almost completely deserted. The only people left are the fanatics themselves. After fighting through them and freeing the prisoners, Aita realizes Bianca has once again been taken, this time to be executed. Aita tracks him through ancient ruins and arrives just in time to find Bianca tied to a stake, moments away from being burned alive. The fanatics and their leader are shocked when they realize that this knight they've been fighting, whom they've all assumed was a man, the one who's been cutting through their forces in pursuit of Bianca, is in fact a woman. Despite the surprise, the leader still ignites the flames. Aita defeats him in single combat, tackles Bianca off the burning stake, and for a moment, it feels like the story is finally reaching its resolution. Only, it's not. Bianca is taken again, while Aita collapses from her wounds and exhaustion. Months then pass. Aita is rescued and cared for by one of the prisoners she freed earlier, and now fully recovered, she resumes her quest. Eventually, she discovers a group of brigands attacking another town using the exact same tactics that were used when her own home was raided. Their trail leads her to a fortress, and at the very top of that fortress, Aita finds the truth. The leader of the brigands is Bianca. Bianca reveals that she was the one who allowed the bandits into their hometown in the first place. Everything that has happened since was all a part of her plan to escape what she believed was her inevitable fate as a woman with no title, no status, and no control over her future in a land already decimated by pestilence. Aita tries to reason with her, but in the end, the two of them fight to the death. The game strongly implies that Aita is the victor, and that's where the story ends. Graphically, the game is beautiful. The environments are incredibly well lit with vibrant colors, and the world really sells the feeling of a medieval landscape ravaged by plague and conflict. Whether you're exploring ruined villages, castles, or the open countryside, there's a lot of visual detail that makes the world feel alive even when it's supposed to feel abandoned. The voice acting is another strong point. Abby Baldwin and Jennifer English's performances especially do a great job capturing the emotional tone of the story, and from the beginning, you can feel that the stakes are serious. The combat is where things get a little bit more mixed in my opinion. The system itself is interesting, and there are upgrades you can unlock through a handful of skill trees that evolve the way you fight. However, the biggest issue for me was how slow the combat feels. It's not necessarily bad, but at times it can feel inconsistent. However, once you learn the rhythm, the combat flow becomes a bit more enjoyable, but I definitely think the experience would benefit from a more fluid combat system overall. One thing I actually appreciated about this game is its focus. There really isn't any sort of side content to speak of. The story unfolds naturally as you progress, and there aren't a bunch of side quests constantly pulling you away from the narrative. There's also no experience grinding or leveling requirements forcing you to stop playing the story just to become powerful enough to keep up, and honestly, that was refreshing. A lot of games these days tend to overwhelm players with side missions and busy work, and sometimes you just want to sit down and experience a story from beginning to end without feeling like you're having to run errands every 5 minutes. In that sense, 1348 Ex Voto keeps its narrative tight and focused. Now, I want to take a moment to discuss where I think the game had a missed opportunity. The relationship between Aita and Bianca is clearly meant to be the emotional core of the story. Right from the beginning, it's obvious their connection goes beyond simple friendship. There's affection there, possibly even love. And that emotional bond is what drives Aita's relentless mission to save her. But the problem is the pacing. The story moves so quickly that we never really get enough time to emotionally invest in their relationship. Their only real time together happens at the beginning of the game, followed by 2 brief encounters later on where Aita nearly rescues Bianca moments before losing her again. Because of this, Bianca's eventual betrayal doesn't quite hit as hard as I think it could have. The twist itself was still surprising. I genuinely didn't see it coming, but it also felt somewhat underdeveloped. We never really get to explore Bianca's perspective, nor do we see her internal struggle. And after the final duel, the game doesn't give us any real aftermath either. Bianca dies off screen, and the credits roll. All of this considered, the ending feels almost nihilistic instead of tragic. I think the story would have benefited a lot from extra narrative moments, maybe even sections where we play as Bianca to understand her motivations and feelings towards Aita. That way, when the final confrontation happens, the emotional payoff would feel much stronger than it did. Overall, I'd give 1348 Ex Voto a 7 out of 10. It was refreshing to play a game that delivers a complete story without padding things out with unnecessary side content. The graphics are beautiful, the environments are well designed, and the voice acting does a great job selling the tone of the story. The combat takes some getting used to, but once you understand its rhythm, it becomes more enjoyable. I just wish that the story had taken a little more time to fully develop the relationship between Aita and Bianca, because with a bit more emotional depth, the ending could have been truly devastating instead of just abrupt. But that's just my take. If you played it yourself, let me know what you thought about it in the comments, especially that ending. And if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please do me a solid and give it a thumbs up. It's a little bit, but it does go a long way in terms of helping the channel grow, and I really appreciate it. If you want to see more content like this, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Once again, my name is Los Angel of Havoc. Thank you for watching LaytatoClips. We will see you next time, friends. Same late time, same late channel.